He's considered the most talented, most versatile performer of our time. Mr. Entertainer, Sammy Davis Jr., a special tribute today on Essence.
Taylor. Welcome to a very special show as Essence profiles the life of a legend, Sammy Davis Jr. He's been called the greatest entertainer in the world. Master dancer, singer, actor, musician. He's played to packed concert halls and nightclubs all over the world. He's starred on Broadway, television, and in movies. And for more than 5 decades, with ease, flair, and charm, this incredible talent has commanded center stage.
Fade, fade, out of sight.
And the beginning is also extraordinary. He was born in Harlem in 1925, a period of struggle and social conflict. Contrasted by a Harlem filled with music and vitality, from which would emerge the elite of American music and entertainment, Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Count Basie, and Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy began making his mark early. He won his first amateur contest at the age of 3 and embarked on a career as one of the youngest vaudevillians ever to dance across a stage. By the time he was 6, he was touring the country with his father and uncle as the youngest member of the Will Maston Trio.
I loved being in show business. As a kid, when are we going on the road? You know, when do we go on the road? I loved being at home with Mama, but I loved being on the road because I was special then. You know, it's like Alice in Wonderland. Here you are, and here are all of these giants around you. I mean in size. I don't mean in popularity. And there was a camaraderie that I felt that the outside society was lacking. Everything I ever learned, Susan, I got from, like I was a magnet of a kind, and it would attach itself. And when I would ask a performer, how do you do that? They would tell me. And I had that, God blessed me with the ability to pick it up, man. I could attract it. You know, if it was dancing, and it was Bill Robinson who showed me a little step when I was 6 years old. And I remember it like it was yesterday, man. Between 6 and 8 years old. And he was doing a show called The Hot Makata. And Will Maston and Bill Robinson were very, very close friends. Will Maston took me backstage, and he said, this is my boy I was telling you about. And Bill Robinson looked at me. He said, I hear you tap dance. I said, yes, sir. Because manners was #1, man. If you didn't say yes, sir, no, sir, you know, to your elders. And he said, can you do this? And he went, purposely making it tough. You understand me? Not just give me a little petite. He could have done that. He didn't do it. He went broom bum tuk buck tuk up tuk tap tuk up. And I just looked at him and I said, yes, sir. He said, well, do it then. I went broom bum chink bunk tuk up tuk bum tuk up tuk bum. And he started to swell up. He said, that's good. Never said another word to me. And I realized then, sometimes you take low, man. You don't do that. I came up as a show-off to him, and I saw a challenge down there. That's what it was to me, so I grabbed it.
The same aggressiveness and drive won Sammy a starring role with Ethel Waters in the 1933 film Rufus Jones for President.
If there is no argument, I pronounce Rufus Jones for the president.
I remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember Will and my father standing on either side of the camera, making me remember the steps. And if you watch the film, there's a couple of shots when she says, come on down here, and I get up from behind the thing and come down and do the thing with the high hat on. And you see me look right at Will, because he's doing this thing. Quiet, you know. But that's the way but that was fun to do.
Tomorrow, Mommy and Daddy come home. What is this, a fever? Your mama got fevers.
She did?
Only I didn't know about
It was
you.
quickly becoming a thing of the past. The Cotton Club was gone. The Apollo Theater was now the place to be. Cab, Lena, Duke, and of course the Count were reigning supreme. And Sammy Davis Jr. was moving up fast.
It was a gorgeous time to learn, and I thought I could, you know, I could walk on water at that point, because I was out of the Army, and I had all of these bright ideas about what I wanted to do. I'm going to do impersonations. I'm going to do this. And my dad, Will, kept saying, they're going to kill you if you try to do that. Don't you do that.
Because at that time, especially, no black man had ever impersonated a white person.
Nobody. Nobody had ever seen a black man ever before go, you dirty rat, you're the guy that gave it to my brother in the back. People looked. People were in shock.
Because of you, there's a song in my heart. Because of you, you dirty rats, my romance had its start. Jimmy Stewart. Well, gee whiz, because of you, the sun will shine. And the moon and the stars and the house and the car will be mine. Forever and never to part. Cary Grant. Judy, all you only did for your love and your kids. And furthermore...
He would come on stage, and there would be an amazing excitement throughout the audience. And for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, he would do everything. He would sing and dance and do impressions and play drums, bass, trumpet, piano. I was truly amazed that he could do all the things that he could do, but I could tap dance. And I was looking to see if he could really do it. That was it. I just couldn't believe that he could tap dance as well as he could. You know, I stole many a step from Sammy Davis Jr. You know, I just wanted to be like him.
You wanted fame, you wanted fortune, and you wanted it bad.
Oh, boy.
And then the notoriety started to come. People were paying attention, a lot of attention.
And I wanted them to pay more attention. So I started doing things that I knew that would get attention. Things, and the more people said, you can't do that. And the more my family said, you can't do that. Hey, we took it as far as we can now. This is it. I remember Will Maston saying to me, and my father, Bill Robinson made $7,500 a week. That's the most money a black man, no, they didn't say black in that time, most money a colored act ever made. And I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, the next time we work Las Vegas, we'll be getting that kind of money. Then it's going to go up. You crazy, you know.
Las Vegas. Entertainment capital of the world. Spectacular stage shows, glittering marquees, the gambling, the money, the music. Today, this is where Sammy Davis Jr. shines. But during the 1940s and 50s, for him and other black performers, while there was applause on stage, off stage was a different story.
If you were putting butts in the seats, a lot of prejudice went out the window. A lot of the preambling, they're doing business. He's the new boy on the block. or whatever, man. A lot of prejudice just sort of disappeared, and suddenly you were welcome. The harder part of breaking down the prejudice in Vegas, or in any of the places, in New York, where you could only sit in one section at the Copa. That's New York City.
Once they allowed you in.
Once they got you...
There was a time when you couldn't even go in.
No, it was a time when you couldn't go in, but once you got in, you sat on what they used to call Burma Road. Black instead. Now, if you were special, if it was a Lena Horne, she'd get the down front, the names they knew, a personality, and there were how many, you could count them all. But in Vegas, it took a lot of good people on the other side of the color spectrum to make the change happen. So that I had an ombudsman, you might say, to go to. I went to a Jack and Trotter who ran the Sands, and I went, Jack, this has got to stop. He said, what do you mean? I said, my people want to come see me. I said, I'm talking about people who will spend as much money as anybody else. They ain't asking for, I said, they can't get at the table. I don't ever see black people sitting down in the front row. I said, well, Sam, you know, I ain't got... I said, I don't see no black people when I walk in.
I got to Vegas in 1964. By that time, whatever the prejudice segregated positions for the black performers, it was gone. So I think that Sammy Davis, one of the pioneers, along with Lena Horne and Nat King Cole, and I would imagine Harry Belafonte, to name a few, Billy Eckstein, all of that, where you had to stay in some trailer home outside and you were just allowed to go in and perform. All those things were gone.
They heard the breeze through the trees, singing weird melodies, and they named that just the start of the blues.
Sammy Davis Jr., the profile of a legend, continues after this.
Did you take me, nurse?
Vegas is now a second home to Sammy Davis Jr. But on the night of November 19th, 1954, after completing another successful engagement at the Frontier, and while his first hit record, Hey There, was climbing the charts, he was driving to Los Angeles. Within seconds, everything came to a grinding halt.
I'm watching this thing happen to me, and it was a horrific accident, and I had there was a thing over the shield of a Cadillac. It used to be a pointed thing like this, very much like this. When I avoided hitting her broadside, middle of her car, and I hit her on the tail end. She spun this way into that dirt dividing road. My head hit like this. And I was in control. I took the car. By this time, I'm looking, and I see it's clear. I pulled the car this way into a gas station. I was over there. I opened up the back door. Charlie was coming on. He was like this. And he had hit the back seat and lost his teeth. And the lady over there, she was all right, and she looked at me, and she went, "Ugh," like this. And I went back across the street, and I said, "Charlie, you all right?" And Charlie looked up at me, and he went, And I went like this, and my eye was hanging down. And I went this way, and put it back in like this. I'll never forget that. And it passed out. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. But it was a moving experience. It certainly separated the men from the boys. And it motivated a lot of things that I went through, good and bad, you know. The fact that it showed me immediately how fragile life is. So you might as well have, you know, go for it, you know, do all the things and be as bodacious as you want to be. Because it can go like that, man. So ain't nobody going to stop me from having fun. Ain't nobody going to do that. And I'm going to be the biggest damn star that ever lived, you know, and I've got to do it quick, because You may get in the car tomorrow.
With this determined attitude toward the future, Sammy's rise to stardom continued, including to date more than 60 albums.
I've got the blues too and the blues. The blues too and the blues. They've got me down and won't let me go.
And his film credits include performances with some of Hollywood's greatest stars. And then there's Broadway. His first Broadway role was in Mr. Wonderful in 1956, followed by Golden Boy in 1965, Stop the World, I Want to Get Off in 1969, and in 1983 he starred with Bill Cosby in Two Friends.
The only mistake about it was for some reason we didn't sell enough tickets. I sold a lot of tickets, but Sammy didn't draw, he didn't draw anything. So then he took half my money and he didn't draw. I had to pay for the orchestra, I had to pay for him, and I didn't understand that.
After 57 years in show business, Sammy now lives with his wife of 16 years in the comfort of Beverly Hills.
Somewhere along the line, Susan, I lost the point of view. The point of view became personal as opposed to the overall, or I was doing too much front running with the overall. Maybe that was it. And nobody is more intuitive to you than your own people. And suddenly from the, hey man, go for it, get it all, yeah, that's our Sam, I started to feel this. And it was starting to tighten up on me with my own people. So naturally, my first thing is to say, well, to hell with them. They ain't putting no bread on. All of the obvious things came to my mind.
That non-acceptance of you by the black community, I think, reached a head after that very famous Richard Nixon hugging.
Which was spontaneous. And would I change it if I could? If I could? No, I wouldn't. Because what the man said was important. He said, we've got some plans for the future, for his people. And he said, and I thank him for what he has done for me. As emotional as I was, particularly in those days, I still am today. I hugged him. And that's the picture that made all the things. But I was not set up. I set myself up. I was prone for that one mistake to happen. And they never quoted what the man said. And it hurt, man. I walked up the stage one night, and I started to cry. My wife wasn't there. Nobody was there. Joe walked in, he said, take it easy. He said, I know what you're thinking. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. Being very emotional, very theatrical. Nobody knows what I'm going through. He said, I know. He said, but they'll come back. Your people will come back. He said, they will. Because I had looked out over a sea of faces and not one black or brown face in the crowd. And it don't mean nothing, Susan. All of it don't mean diddly. If your own people don't love you, or at least know you're out there. Bitch about you, yeah. Fight you, yeah. That at least acknowledge wrong point of view. Let the editorials be written, but to be ignored by your own.
Tomorrow, Mama.
You with the stars in your eyes.
Controversy has always surrounded Sammy Davis Jr., and it reached into his private life. From his first marriage to dancer Laurel White in 1958, to his marriage to My Brit in 1960, both of which ended in divorce. In 1970, he married Altavis Gore.
I would like to spend the rest of my life with him. He says he's got about 15, 20 more years left, but I don't know about what that means. But I just think he's stupendous. He is really someone that, it's like my mother said, one day your prince will come along, and he did.
She's the best thing, singularly, that ever happened to me in my life. I respect her, I honor her, I love her, but most important, damn do I like her. She's great fun to be around.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy.
You know, I'm bigger than I ever thought I'd be, and I know if I stay within my realm, that I'm the best doing what I do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sammy Davis Jr. He always knew he wanted stardom, and he drove himself fiercely for it. He played the game. He played it well, and he won. He achieved what to most of us would seem impossible. His triumph can serve as a tremendous inspiration to all of us. In his own words, yes, I can. Sammy Davis Jr., the theatrical phenomenon of our time. I'm Susan Taylor, and I'll see you next week on Essence.
I pick up too when the spirit moves me. Cross the river, then around the bend. Howdy, stranger, so long, friend. There's a voice in the lonesome wind that keeps telling me, Rome, I'm going where a welcome mat is, no matter where that is. For any place I hang my hat is home.